Good morning. We are live here on the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. And for anybody that's not watching this at 11 a.m. Sunday, you're watching this as a video. So welcome just the same. And we're going to start doing the tarot reading in about 5 minutes or so. So if you want to skip the intros and everything, I'm going to, in the first comment, I'm gonna timestamp when we're actually starting. So with that, so I'm just gonna say hi to the live people for a second, and a little bit of background, and then get right into it. So, anyways, thank you for everybody that's here. I need some water. Excuse me. It's been kind of one of those mornings. So, firstly, excuse me. So, firstly, definitely an action-packed week coming up in astrology. We have a few aspects. Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday are very powerful days. I was just sort of glancing at the ephemeris, but the main show is the upcoming full moon on the 19th on Friday. Now, of course, we're going to do our archangel transmission that day, Friday evening here on the channel. But it's a partial lunar eclipse. I think it goes like it's like 97% full, so 97% total, and it's a long track lunar eclipse. So actually, I was doing a little bit of checking, and this new moon, this full moon, this eclipse is going to be like about a 6 hour event or something like that, or it's a long event, and the longest partial lunar eclipse in 600 years, I believe, which is kind of odd, but that happened because the moon's actually at its most distant point. It's in its elliptical orbit, and and therefore the moon's moving slower, and then that's why it's a longer track. The moon's just a little bit slower, and but basically that means that when we come to the solar eclipse on the new moon, the moon's going to be very close to the Earth so it's like a super new moon, I guess, or close to it, and it's a total solar eclipse. And the way that solar eclipse has become total is when the moon appears to us to be bigger than the sun, then the moon can block out the whole sun. So the moon needs to be closer to the Earth for that to happen. Now that I forgot the name of it. Well, they call it a ring of fire eclipse, where the moon goes in front of the sun, but you can see the ring of the sun around it. That means that the moon's farther away and it's smaller to us. Anyway, there's a little astronomy for you to start your Sunday. Welcome to tarot time, and thank you. If anybody's new, yes, so she's saying it's a stagnation, and so Sharita's our astrologer. If you missed her, she did a beautiful talk for us. When was that? Last Monday, or I don't remember what day she was on. I think it was last Monday, about the upcoming eclipses, and then the USA Pluto return. So you can catch that. That's on the Medium channel. Very, very interesting. And then tomorrow, Monday, Sharita, Heather, and I are going to do a live event on Zoom. So you need to email us or go to the website. It's atombetweentheworlds.com is our website, and then you can go into the events and sign up for that. So Sharita will give us the lowdown on the astrology, and I'll do an energetic transmission, and then Heather will do a healing transmission. So that's what's coming up with that. And if you guys missed the transmission that we just did on 11/11, all I have to say is, oh boy. And that was a very powerful transmission. And being that here on tarot time, it's more like our close family. I can be a little bit candid and vulnerable, I suppose. But they really worked on me big time. And I know I was doing the transmission, and because I'm channeling, I'm kind of partially aware and then partially somewhere else. And but at one point I heard them saying that that there's some people that have obstruction and we need to work through that. Well, they were talking about me, I have to say. And what happened the last couple of days is that I've been like firstly purging, like a lot of like fluids leaving my body, but just uh going through these emotional like just crying, and it's that's not usual for me to just get weepy all of a sudden, but that's happening the 2 days following the transmission. So last night I was working with spirit and they just told me that, basically we need you to be better. That's what they said. So we're working on you a little bit harder than we were, just because the times demand it. So they need me to upgrade more, so that, for me obviously and for my life, but being that I'm kind of taking on this responsibility of being a speaker, a teacher, and a way shower during these awakening time, they basically needed me to up my game, so they're doing that. So here we are. Anyways, oh, thanks. Even if you can't spell, Sharita, I appreciate your input and everything. So, in any event, if you want to bring 1111, the energy of 1111 to you anytime, you can do this transmission anytime it's on the channel. And then there's also a video that I did about the true meaning of 1111, in reference to things like numerology and science and stuff like that. So all that good stuff is on the channel. So it's 1109. A couple of people are just sort of saying they've been very emotional also, like the release and letting go. Yeah, a lot of that, but that transmission. I mean, there's just no words. And I've been doing this a year and a half now. When I discovered that I could be sort of a transmitter of energy from the cosmos, or I call them the master guides from the energies that work with me. But that one hit me the hardest, and yeah, I've been feeling like, don't get me started. I'm starting to feel the energy welling up again. So, anyways, let's get into tarot time. I decided to use the hangman as our little tutorial. So what we do is I do a little mini tutorial on the tarot, pull a meditation card, do a quick 3-card spread on the trends of the week energetically and how that's affecting us as a collective, a collective at large, but also as a collective in this group here, in this community. And then I have my angel card, my animal totem card. So I picked the hangman for a couple of reasons. One, it's key 12 in the tarot. And when we hit the solar eclipse, and in fact, I think it's the next 5 new moons are going to happen at 12 degrees of their sign. So 12 is references the hangman in the tarot. You can see the figures hanging upside down. It's almost like Odin hanging from the tree and sacrificing an eye for wisdom or something like that. I'm not too up on my Norse mythology these days, even though my son is named Odin and after the Norse god. But it's key 12, and during this time, it's like the energy of that is basically, it's a time for a little bit of a pause. It's time to maybe make some sacrifices in our lives in order to serve our own good and the highest good. So and the new moons are falling on 12 degrees. So I think during these earth change period, we're in we just entered into the very core of the earth changes now. I believe that happened in the last new moon, and there's some aspects to validate that. So this is a very meditative card. I believe it's the element of air also. So a lot of ideas and a lot of energetic transmissions from your guides are likely to be happening. So it's a time to be still, and this is kind of a card of stillness. Let's see if I can hold this in a way that's not just reflecting the light. There we go. He's got one leg crossed, the other leg is straight. And what else is this card telling me? He's got a golden aura around his head. His hands are behind his back, interestingly, in this deck also. And he's just sort of like, again, just sort of hanging out, just letting things go, just surrendering to the universe, surrendering to the process. then that's not to say not to be proactive and not to fight for your rights and so forth. But there's a certain amount of surrendering to what's happening that's necessary for us to be okay, for us to upgrade our energetic system so we can ascend to our next levels, and then we can do the work, the amazing work that we're really meant to do all week. So thanks. Yeah, and Sharita inputs the Chaldean numerology meaning. Which I find to be really, really useful. I've been looking more and more into that, and it's a very old system of numerology, and the numbers like uh, like 10 through 22 all loosely correspond to the major arcana of the same numbers. The only variation is that key 11 used to be the strength card, and then it changed to the justice card for whatever reason. So the Chaldean system, like the 11 is more linked to the strength card, and then key 8 is more linked to the justice card. But anyway, enough of that. Let's move on. By the way, are we coffee, tea, or caffeine free this morning? And I had a little bit of a green tea with ginger, and almost like I'm now regretting that I didn't go for the black tea. But anyway, so yes. These next 6 months are all about stillness, the quintessential to understand. Yes, so very good. All right, so let me pull our meditation card, and if you want to kind of play along with us, meditate on this on the daily level. This is what Spirit is picking for us for this week. So where do we want to go? I have to clear my mind. Okay, this is not it. The one under. This is it. Okay, this is the card they wanted for us, which it's a journeying card. So that's a beautiful meditation card. And in the meaning, it's kind of like leaving established happiness and success, kind of turning its back and doing a pilgrimage up the mountains. And then the moon is shining. The moon is very, very powerful. And what's going on Tuesday? There's a conjunction. Was it Mars and Uranus? Uranus is going to be a big player. It already has been. Uranus brings revolutionary change. And so this is a very quiet, still energy. And the other thing that's been going on is that with the moon in Pisces, I think it just went into Aries like a few minutes ago. So if you've been a little bit down or a little melancholy, a little bit sluggish or low energy, it should start to pick up today with the moon in Aries. So Judy writes coffee in large letters. Yes, 1022 or loosely. Thank you for the clarification. And yeah, so the way to meditate, get relax, as we always do when we meditate. We stop our thoughts, we tune into our breathing, and just by doing that, anytime you think about it during the day, just stop your thoughts and tune into your breath. That's called practicing presence. Just the act of doing that raises your consciousness at least 2 levels, because you get out of that monkey mind, out of that repetitive self-talk that we're 95% not even conscious of. It keeps going up and up, but psychologists are now saying 65,000 thoughts per day. That's what the average human has. 65,000 thoughts per day. 95% of them are subconscious. This card is telling us for a moment here that get out of those thoughts, tune into your breathing, and just let your consciousness start to merge and meld with the cosmos. And that's when you start to download information from spirit or source. And anytime there's an important decision to be made, our reaction, because we're very much programmed into survival mentality, our reaction is just kind of to clench up and tighten up and to really focus on, I need to make this decision. Oh my God. And by doing that, you start to cut off your crown chakra. You start to cut off your own spirit's guidance. You want to do the exact opposite. When there's an important decision to be made, just say, okay, no matter what, firstly diffuse it. No matter what decision I make, it's going to be the right one, and it's not the end of the world. And try to relax and get present, and then ask spirit. And you may, without that resistance of our own mind, that's when higher knowledge can come in. That's when the higher wisdom can come in, and you'll actually get much better information, and you may even get your answers that way. So yeah, forming the opposition. So they're in the fixed signs, and we just had a moon, a sun moon opposition. The last full moon, what I think the last full moon was in Taurus. Oh my gosh, yeah. So again, those signs are very active. Scorpio's very, very active right now because Uranus is in Taurus and it's opposing everything that's transiting Taurus. Sooner or later is going to oppose Uranus. So Uranus is very active. So next on the agenda, you see, oh, I do have my little clipboard. Okay. I said, I was going to say for a second, I might have to do without my clipboard today. What am I going to do? All right. There's a lot going on, a lot suppressed in the news, so we don't hear much of it. But I'll say we did the last new moon. We did our Ascension updates here on the channel, and though you may not see it on mainstream news, a lot of that was predicted then is actually happening. I'll just leave it at that. And of course, if you want to check that out, that's also like every other live event it always uploads as a video onto the Medium channel. So that is good. Oh. So by the way, I keep forgetting to just ask you guys if you're enjoying this, just to hit the like button. I should do that and do a little bit of promotion for this channel, because what happens is the YouTube algorithm sees that as an interaction, and if enough people do it, then they start to push the videos out to more people and share this with more. So if you care to indulge me and do that, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, okay, very good. All right, so I need to clear my mind so that spirit can guide me. So I need to do what I was telling you guys to do, to stop my thoughts, take a deep breath, and tune into presence, and then spirit will guide my hand to the right cards, and that's how it works. Okay, so I offer my hand to you, great spirit. I'm overdoing it. This way. Oh, this card. No. Okay, I'm thinking too much. Oh, this card. Okay, very good. And this one. No. The one under it. This one. Okay. So far, so good. Oh, these are nice cards this week. We deserve nice cards, right? These are all kind of very pleasant. It's a very progressive energy. I do feel like one of the messages with this is that things are going to be moving pretty quickly this week. So we may be hearing like new things on the news. Again, mainstream news, gives us, I don't know, some of the truth, I suppose. But this is a very industrial energy, and the Empress with the Eight of Pentacles together is very good financially. So there's been a lot, for me included, but there's been a lot of talk about financial systems, breaking down or changing or whatever. This is actually showing a little bit of a building, or a little bit of I don't know if a recovery is the right word, but we may find that it's actually a good period to invest. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was sort of saying, not a good time to invest. I don't know if stocks since went down. I mean, from what I loosely hear, they've actually been going up a little bit, but that's kind of good in a sense. Now the thing is, this is kind of giving me the feeling to say, firstly, that we're having to really pull out of the past now. We're having to just kind of separate ourselves from what was or what's been. It's a very nostalgic kind of an energy. It's kind of making me feel like the connecting with new people, new places, new activities, and it's a good week for that. Um, of course, we're coming into a full moon, so the energy's going to be high and active that way as well. Um, and this also gives me a feeling like especially early in the week, it's a good time to just kind of clear house, so to speak, and maybe to you do some physical detoxing or some energetic detoxing. Um, oh, okay. Thanks for the clarification. So Sharita's saying, yeah, of course, Fridays, full moon. Yeah, we're still in Scorpio. Hello, I need a coffee this morning. So yeah, so we have basically Uranus and Mars opposing, and then the Sun and the Moon are going to oppose. That's what happens on a full moon. The Sun and the Moon oppose. That's why it looks full. So all that Scorpio Taurus energy, yeah, is really intense. But the cards again, they look pretty nice and pretty low keyed. But like I said, active, and I get this impression of like really like planning for the winter. I feel like that's one of the messages. It's almost like I'm looking at the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like I'm getting things from the grocery store, stocking up on things, making sure if there is a full on interruption of supplies or the food chain or stuff like that, yeah, that I have what I need. So go buy your toilet paper. Just kidding. And what's that expression? Those that fail to prepare to fail. I think it is. So it's always a good idea to prepare for the worst. And I really feel like if you don't do this in a fear based way, like oh my god, uh, it's like the last time that there's a blizzard forecast for the area. It's just like everybody was in this panic in the store, and I'm like, chill out, everybody. It's a snowstorm. It's not the end of the world. So as long as we're not in panic mode or whatever, and not fear based, then when we prepare for the worst, we often create the best. And it's often like when it's all over, it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad or whatever. Well, it wasn't so bad because you were prepared in case it was to get bad. It's a fluid situation. We know what the stars and the numbers are telling us. These are portals of information the universe is giving us. Kind of an exterior, what's the right expression? And a kind of an exterior manifestation of what's happening in collective consciousness. It's expressed through the movement of the planets, because everything's connected and everything's numbered in the universe. But it's fluid. So the more people that awaken and the more people that raise their consciousness, the easier this transition into this new paradigm of society and this new awakening, this reaching this next level of humanity, and us reaching our next level individually, the smoother that it can happen. Now, I think it's unavoidable. It's going to be a little bit bumpy because we're being asked to basically, separate from our past patterns, and our survival instinct wants to gravitate towards those patterns because our mind, our subconscious believes that that's what we need to stay safe and survive. So it's almost like we're having to separate ourselves from that and really go into our heart and go into our mind. Now, by the way, on Thursday, I'm going to release a video about heart brain coherence and do another heart brain coherence challenge next week also. I'll explain more about that as we get closer to it. So anyway, any other messages from this, being that it's almost 11:30 already? Yeah, again, I feel it's almost like just get ready. I feel like they're just saying, this is the time to really get ready and prepare for the next phase of things. Yeah, we may have a little window of opportunity where things are moving along pretty good. Um, the eclipses, the solar and then the lunar, then the solar. It's just basically a lunar eclipse is a sun moon opposition, and as opposite as it possibly can be. That's why it's an eclipse, and the solar one's the opposite. So yeah, the moon is moving a little bit slowly now. That happens because the moon's farther from the earth, so the gravitational pull is just a tad bit less. But once we hit that new moon, and it's a total lunar eclipse, a total solar eclipse, that means the disk of the moon appears larger to us than the disk of the sun, which means the moon's closer to us in its orbit, which means the gravitational pull is stronger. That's going to be a very powerful, because it's a laser beam of energy focused on basically the same minutes of the same degree in it'll be in Sagittarius then. um the Sagittarius is very expansive, and it's very much about our higher mind and our higher wisdom, and it's also a fire sign, so there's a very active energy. So these intense alignments like that have a way of kind of pulling energy apart and allowing things beneath the surface to rise up to the surface. So, I was forecasting November to be, a month where a lot of stuff will rise to the surface. I mean, I'm seeing drips and drabs of that, but I do believe after this next eclipse going on to the following 6 months or so, that's when we're really going to see a lot of the news stories that are going to try to infiltrate mainstream news about, what's wrong, or what's been planned, or what's an agenda, or why certain things are happening, and certain companies are getting very, very wealthy. Hint, pharmaceuticals, big tech. Um, for example. So, anyways, that's kind of what I'm getting from these cards. I'm going to say to get prepared, get ready, catch up on things. I do believe that we have a good energy to make things happen this week. So things that have been put off, to do it. If you have like some business ideas or money ideas, work on it, and work on manifesting it. Work on your manifestation work leading up to this new moon. It's very advantageous because the moon is waxing and getting full. Good time for manifestation work. At some point, I'll do a law of attraction work talking about why astrological timing is so crucial if you're going to be successful. If you do a law of attraction, swim with the tide, not against the tide. If you have to swim against the tide, call on the beautiful salmon, the ones that swim upstream, to get, no matter what currents are against them, through sheer determination, they get to their breeding ground. But the idea is we want to save that medicine for when we absolutely need it, not because we're always unprepared and always going against the currents. Understand the currents of astrology, numerology, the lunar phases, even the days of the week have different energies. Today is Sunday, it's the day of the sun. So if you do law of attraction work, you want it to happen to the energies of the sun. Monday's the day of the moon, Tuesday's the day of two. Two is a Martian goddess of the Nordics. Wednesday is Woden's day, that favors Mercury energy. Thursday is Thor's day, that favors Jupiter energy. Friday is Freya day, that Freya is a Venusian goddess that favors Venus energy. Saturday is pretty self-explanatory. Saturn day. So anyway, let's us look into the next thing next thing on the agenda. Let's pull one from the Native American deck also, because I love the Native Americans. I love the wisdom. I love the connection with nature. Um, as always, they have a lot to teach us, for those that are willing to have an open heart and learn. So let's go right to the top. Okay, I have to clear my mind. For some reason, I don't know if it's something with the moon just hitting Aries, but my monkey mind is sure getting in the way this morning. I have to be honest. All right, this one. So we consistent. We've gotten the Warrior of Pipes. He came up reversed to me. So, but this is what the card looks like, and this is just giving us a little bit of extra information. Um, and the way I'm seeing this card, it's almost like the warrior. It's almost like he's fallen, gotten up, and is ready to change his course because the horse is facing to his right, and the right is to me is the future. So it's kind of like I feel like it's saying like we really need to get our heads out of the sand now, and really be present, but plan for the future. For somebody that talks about presence all the time, is a little ironic. I guess I'm talking about the future also, but all time happens in the present moment. The way we plan for the future, first and foremost, is we be as good and as strong as we can be right now, and then have sort of a game plan of in this present now, what direction am I moving in, and then when the future comes in, that's going to be the present also. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sharita, for inputting. Yeah, so Sharita does her consultations, and so if you want to get a little bit more information on this and how to plan personally, check Sharita out, Sharita Star. You can email us, or she might even put her email in for us. Um, all right, so that's that. So, we're getting back on our horse and we're riding. We've had a little bit of a lull, even though it's been a charged period, it's kind of been a little bit of a lull. I do feel like we're about to head into another kind of surge in cases of the virus and stuff like that. Different subvariants, that kind of a thing. More pressure on doing things. We'll just say in one set way, even though there's other ways we can augment our health and our immune system. I think it's already started in Europe. Somebody, I don't know why, I might have seen that this morning or sometime. So anyway, time to get on our horse and ride. If we fall, and get back on the horse and ride. That's the metaphor. That's what I believe the Knight of Pipes is trying to tell us. So, moving right along, I have our Stephen Farmer messages, our spirit guide animal message for the day. Okay. Let's top one. Blue heron. I love blue herons. I saw one the other day too. The blue heron says, "Make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others." Wow, that's a powerful message. So, again, this is really, I believe, Spirit's way of saying, I'm talking about the program. They're saying abort the programming. Abort was the word that came in. I don't know what that means exactly, but what's hitting me is judgment or disapproval from others. Um, so kind of saying abort. What do you mean abort? I need more information, Spirit. Uh, I feel like they're saying just what the card's saying. To really work on getting out of that mindset of what others feel or think. We have to do what's right for ourselves, for our own health and our own well-being, and not in a selfish and inconsiderate way, obviously, but the better care that we take of ourselves and the stronger that we are, the better that's going to be for everybody. So the idea is to raise the collective from within, and then if you feel, could we all have jobs in this new earth and in this awakening process? And if your job, if you're called to be an activist, by all means do that. If you're called like I am to be more of like a, well, I don't want to say behind the scenes, but more of a teacher and and a guide to awakening and growth, do that. Or whatever it is you're called to be. Maybe you're called to be a healer, or to work with homeless people, or stuff like that, or called to march on Washington, D.C. But the thing is, Trust what's in your heart. Don't worry about what other people think or what you think you're supposed to do. Like if you feel like everything's crazy, I should be out there and doing things. Maybe that's not your job. Maybe that's somebody else's job. So you have to, we, you, we, me, us, we have to get out of that whole kind of fear-based mentality, that whole survival, program mentality, and really tune into our hearts. So again, Thursday, I'm going to release a video on how to do heart brain coherence. I have a live event from the 24th of September where I explain the process. It's learning how to raise the emotional frequency of the heart and understanding that the heart and the brain are connected. What we do with our heart, it affects the brain, and what affects the brain affects everything in our lives, actually, including how well we heal from illness, including how healthy we are, including how much money we attract, including how intuitive we are, including the aging process itself, is all a product of the mind. And if we elevate the frequency of the heart, we elevate the mind. And it's so simple, but it's so powerful that this is, in my estimation, the spirituality of these changing times. And it's what the masters have always been telling us: compassion, gratitude. That's how you raise the emotional frequency of the heart. It's not rocket science. It's just sitting and consciously feeling those in your heart and joining your brain with your heart. And again, there's techniques around that I'm teaching. Excuse me, my eyes are very watery today. I think it's still from that transmission. And anyway, so that's the message with that. So let me move on to the next thing. So that'll be our angel message. Oh, here they are. So I have angel therapy oracle cards today. That's what the box looks like for these. Parents tell us to remember your strength no matter how. Yeah, I like I like that, and I like observing them. Like herons are very graceful and they're very big, and they just sort of glide near the water and have a vantage point of the moving water, which are the currents of our emotions and feelings, and learning how to be observant of it, but yet to be above it. And when I say above it, that doesn't mean to not feel. It means to actually allow yourself to feel, because that way, when you're able to feel and not be afraid to do it, then you understand more why you're feeling a certain way and why you react to things in a certain way. And that's how you start to evolve out of the programming, by becoming the observer of your feelings and reactions. Somebody's saying, yeah, her card of the day is the death card. The death card's definitely been coming up a lot also. And I think after the 6 months, the moon actually the cycles of the sun speed. Anyway, I'm not going to go. I've tried to meet out astronomy too much today. Let me just pull a card, but it's interesting, because the death card's the one that comes right after the hangman, which was our tutorial card of the day. So in the hangman, we're kind of in this pause and maybe a little bit of self-sacrifice for knowledge and wisdom. But the death card's the actual transformation. It's the rebirth, basically. And the moon card too. So they're very. So and anyways, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Yes, the moon card is beautiful also. So here's what the angel therapy card that I picked, law of attraction. So we talked a little bit about that earlier. And relationships and activities that you once enjoyed are now changing as you become more sensitive and aware of energies. It's funny because the angel here, she looks sweet but tough at the same time. And so anyways, I need to read this again. So we talked about this also, and how, being more, we are changing, we're evolving. There's a process that's happening where we're going from from more like it's almost like turning from carbon to diamond. It's almost like the cells and the molecules in our body are starting to change as the frequencies change. Our bodies adjust to the increase of frequencies that we're all experiencing. We can resist that and just be in bad energy all the time, like anxious or angry or whatever, or ill. Or we can surrender, let go into our breathing, and just allow these upgrades to happen, basically. And as you start to do your heart brain coherence, as you start to connect these two organs, now they have cells. Look, you can check out Heart Math Institute. They're basically the mecca, on heart coherence. And there's cells that only exist in those two organs, nowhere else in the body. So they're very linked. And again, it's not hard to do. The thing is, because of our programming, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail now. I do that on some of my videos. It's almost like it's hard sometimes to just feel compassion and gratitude, because we want to feel like negative. I mean, I don't know how else to explain that, but there's a part of our programming that wants to keep us in a negative mindset. And what you need to do when you're having a hard day and you do this is just keep doing it. And then sooner or later, you're going to flip, and sooner or later, you're going to start open to compassion, love, and gratitude, because that's what the heart wants to feel. Hearts want to love. So anyway, a lot of stuff is pointing to really starting to double down on heart meditation. Now on Thanksgiving Day, we're not doing an upload. We upload every Thursday except Thanksgiving and Christmas week. Um, this is only our second Thanksgiving in existence, but I'm gonna do a live event where I'm gonna actually lead you guys through a heart brain coherence meditation, and then do an energy activation for my guides through me to really help to um, turn on the blessing codes, the light codes of gratitude, or the light codes of the heart. So that's basically what I have. So again, on the announcements, this full moon Friday, the full moon I believe is earlier in the day, but in the evening at 7 o'clock, I'm going to do an archangel transmission. I think we're going to work with Raphael, but sometimes they tell me who we're going to work with. Um, just to let you know, calling on angels is probably the simplest of the spirit guides or energies to call on. All you have to do is open your heart to gratitude and compassion, and you become a magnet to the angels because they gravitate towards love. And so we're going to do a transmission where they activate my energy fields as I'm leading the meditation. We join in spirit, we join in consciousness. So through that they're able to activate your energy fields also. So that's how the transmissions work. They're actually quite powerful, and I love it when people contact me later and tell me that they did the transmission and then their crown chakra completely opened and they had a full-on gamma experience. That's happened to several people actually, or whatever effects that it has. But it's their gift, and it's my gift also. So we're going to do that on Friday, and then tomorrow, we're Sharita Star, Heather Istara, and myself are going to be on Zoom doing a Venus retrograde, which is coming up in December, and the eclipses, and to help you to prepare for that. One of the messages from the tarot this week is to prepare. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. It's an awakening process. It's fluid though, so our consciousness evolves. That can change the trajectory. So it does not have to be doom and gloom. We don't have to be going to World War III, or have the food chain completely cut off, or go into martial law, or have a full-on revolution. It can evolve that way, but it doesn't have to. So what we need to do is raise our frequency, and that adds to the collective. And I believe it's only 1%. There's a tipping point in consciousness that happens. Um, and some of you know about the 100th monkey experiment, where basically they just showed through teaching monkeys new tricks, how to open up coconuts, I believe. They found that if enough monkeys knew how to do that, the monkeys on the other side of the island started to do the same thing, and the monkeys on other islands started to do the same thing. And that was just an exercise in consciousness. It just shows that once enough people, monkeys in that case, but in our case, people change their consciousness, then it allows collective consciousness to start to shift, and then everybody starts to get it. So all we can do is help ourselves, right? That's all we can do. So do this for yourself. Work with your heart 3 to 11 minutes a day. Just feel gratitude, compassion in your heart. Maybe do a little bit of heart breathing before that to get the heart pumping, energetically pumping. Expand on the exhale, contract on the inhale, get that heart chakra moving, get the stagnation out. And then once you do that, feel gratitude and let it well, and feel your brain, let your brain feel what your heart's feeling. And then you have it, and hold that. If you can do that 11 minutes, hold that. And according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, doing 10 minutes of heart coherence 3 times a day increases your immunoglobulins, your gamma globulins A, by a factor of 50%. And he has empirical data to back that up. That means a lot in a pandemic. Whether you're doing the vaccine, or you're not, it really does not hurt to enhance your own immunity. So and that's just one of the things, and again, the fear that's being programmed into us, whether it's an agenda or it's just happening. I'm making no assessment today on that, but whatever the case, fear is about survival. When we're in a survival emotion, it signals the body to take energy from non-essential. That's a big word these days. From non-essential and the function in the body to deal with the crisis at hand, to stay alive. Now, turning on the news should not be a crisis, but that's how the body responds to it. So, what would be non-essential in the present moment to overcome, like a tiger chasing us, for example? The immune system, like we don't need to fight off viruses. We need to make sure that the tiger doesn't eat us, right? So basically what's happening, we're being programmed to weaken our immune systems, expand the frequency of the heart, counter that programming, and strengthen your immune system. I think that's a wonderful note to end on. So I'm going to end on that. So 1% would be 70 million. Piece of cake, Linda. We 70 million. We can do this. So let's do this. So that way we all stock up on food, like again, our frozen veggies, our beans, all the stuff, things that we don't have to cook in case the grid goes out. All it would take is a geomagnetic, not geomagnetic, a solar flare strong enough to overcome the weakening the magnetic field of the planet, to knock the grid out. So, and again, I'm not about doom and gloom. I'm about, let's be real, let's prepare. But the reality is that the we are in such a delicate balance. It would take very little to knock out this whole electrical grid. It's a good idea to have enough water and enough food. I would say even for a month, but at least a couple of weeks. So anyway, it's not going to happen because we're all going to be prepared, and we're going to be raising our consciousness. So anyways, anyways. Yeah, exactly. Healing elements. It can happen anytime, and because of the way the energy's changing, the way people are freaking out, and also there's other crises happening in the world that actually makes it more likely. But again, I don't feel like it's going to happen, but I'm preparing nonetheless. I'll put it that way. Okie doke. So we went a little bit over today, or a lot over today. Hopefully it was worth it. And we'll see you next time. Have a beautiful Sunday, everybody.